Have you ever felt lost? Like the whole world was crashing down around you? Maybe you faced moments when it seemed like nothing was going right, that everything you loved was slipping through your fingers. These moments are scary and make us question a lot of things. But today, I want to tell you that even in the toughest situations, there's a way to find hope and strength to keep going. I want to show you how 3 people in the Bible, Job, Moses, and Esther, faced enormous challenges that could have made any of us give up. But they didn't. They trusted God in such a powerful way that despite all the suffering, they came out victorious. If you've ever wondered how to keep going when all seems lost, these stories will show you the way. They faced deep pain, but found the solution in faith, perseverance, and courage. And if they could do it, so can you. Let's discover how together, shall we? But first, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because the next videos will be a series of content that will help you strengthen your faith even more and bless your life. Job was a man known for his integrity and devotion to God. He had a prosperous life with a large family, countless riches, and an impeccable reputation. But in the blink of an eye, everything changed. One day, Job lost his children, his possessions, and even his health. Suddenly, he found himself sitting in ashes, covered in sores, abandoned by everyone. What was once a home full of joy and abundance turned into a place of pain and silence. Job's situation was so desperate that his own wife suggested he curse God and die. But Job, even in the midst of so much suffering, responded with a faith that defies human understanding. Shall we receive good from God, and shall we not receive evil? Job didn't understand why he was suffering so much, but he knew who he trusted. His faith wasn't based on circumstances, but on the unchanging character of God. Job's friends came to visit him, but instead of offering comfort, they accused him of having done something to deserve such punishment. They couldn't understand that Job's suffering wasn't a punishment, but a test. And even amidst the accusations and pain, Job maintained his integrity. He questioned, cried, mourned, but never stopped trusting God. Job's story teaches us that true faith doesn't depend on a problem-free life. On the contrary, it is revealed and strengthened in the darkest moments. Job lost everything he held most precious, but he never lost his trust in God. He didn't find immediate answers to his suffering, but he found something even more valuable, a deeper understanding of the greatness and sovereignty of God. In the end, God restored Job's life, giving him back twice as much as he had lost. But Job's true triumph wasn't the restoration of his possessions, but the unwavering trust he maintained in God, even when all seemed lost. Job shows us that, in times of pain and confusion, it's possible to cling to faith and trust that God is in control, even when we can't understand his plans. Job's story isn't just about suffering and restoration. It's about the trust in God that remains firm, even when circumstances say otherwise. It's this trust that sustains us in the toughest times and gives us hope to continue, knowing that God is faithful and that in the end, he always brings something good, even from the most painful situations. If you're enjoying this content, hit the like button. It's really important so YouTube keeps sharing our videos with you. And that way, we'll keep helping you. So go ahead and leave a like on this video. It's free, all right? Moses was born at a time when the life of a Hebrew baby boy was doomed to death. However, his story begins with an act of faith. His mother hid him for 3 months and, when she could no longer keep him safe, placed him in a basket on the Nile River. The baby was found and raised by Pharaoh's daughter, but his true identity as a Hebrew was never forgotten. As an adult, Moses found himself called to a higher purpose, far from the riches of the Egyptian palace. He was chosen by God to lead the people of Israel out of slavery in Egypt, a mission that seemed impossible from the start. From the moment God spoke to Moses in the burning bush, it was clear that his journey would be full of challenges. Pharaoh, the leader of Egypt, repeatedly refused to free the Israelites, hardening his heart with each request from Moses. The plagues that ravaged Egypt were powerful demonstrations of God's power, but also severe tests for Moses' faith. He needed to believe, even in the face of relentless opposition, that God would fulfill his promise to free the people. However, the resistance didn't just come from Pharaoh. The very people Moses was trying to save often grumbled against him. Instead of recognizing the miracles they were witnessing, like the parting of the Red Sea, many Israelites complained about the hardships in the desert, wishing to return to Egypt, where at least they had food and water. Moses, amidst this scenario of complaints and disobedience, had to keep his faith firm and his vision clear. He knew that the promised land was ahead, even when the path seemed endless and the challenges insurmountable. Moses wasn't perfect. He faced his own doubts and fears. At times, the burden he carried seemed unbearable. He interceded for the people countless times, pleading with God for mercy and guiding them with patience and love, despite his own frustration. His unwavering obedience to God, even in the face of the greatest adversity, is an example of perseverance that continues to inspire to this day. Moses' journey shows us that leadership, especially leadership that follows God's will, isn't free from challenges. On the contrary, it's marked by moments of great trial. But Moses persevered because he trusted in God's promises, even when reality seemed to contradict them. His story teaches us that perseverance in difficult times isn't just a matter of strength, but of faith. A faith that clings to divine promises, that moves forward even when the path is full of obstacles, and that refuses to give up, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. In the end, Moses led the people of Israel to the edge of the promised land, and although he didn't enter it, his legacy is an eternal testament to the importance of perseverance and obedience to God. His story reminds us that when we face adversity, we must stand firm, knowing that the journey may be difficult, but that faithfulness to God will lead us to the destination He has prepared for us. Esther was a young Jewish woman who, against all odds, became queen of Persia. But her destiny held something much greater than the luxury and comfort of the palace. When an evil decree was issued to exterminate all the Jews, Esther found herself in a unique position. She could intercede with the king and try to save her people. However, there was a great risk. Approaching the king without being summoned could mean her death, even as queen. Faced with this dilemma, Esther could have chosen the safest path, preserving her own life. However, she decided to trust God and act with courage. Before presenting herself to the king, Esther called all the Jewish people to fast and pray, seeking God's guidance and protection. With her heart full of fear, but also unwavering determination, Esther risked everything. She approached the throne, knowing that her life was in God's hands. The result was miraculous. The king not only extended his scepter, sparing her life, but also granted her request, allowing the Jews to defend themselves and reversing the fate of destruction that awaited them. Esther's courage saved not only her life, but the lives of all her people. Her story teaches us that, even in situations of extreme danger, the courage that comes from faith in God can transform destinies and bring liberation. When we trust God and act with courage, He can use our actions to accomplish great things. Throughout these stories, we've seen that Job, Moses, and Esther faced enormous challenges that could have destroyed any of them. But what kept them strong was faith, courage, and unwavering trust in God. They show us that, even when everything seems to be against us, God is by our side, guiding our steps, strengthening us, and giving us the courage to face any difficulty. Maybe you're going through a difficult time right now, where things seem to be out of control. But remember, just like Job, Moses, and Esther, you too can find strength in God. Believe that, even when all seems lost, He has a bigger plan for your life. Don't give up. Trust God, keep the faith, and have the courage to move forward. Because He's always in control, ready to transform your story. So when challenges come, remember these stories. Remember that you're not alone. God is with you, and with Him by your side, there's nothing you can't overcome. May this message stay in your heart and inspire you to live with more faith, courage, and trust in each day to come. I invite you to click on this video that's popping up on the screen now. You'll like it. God bless.